Hi, good afternoon. I am Nicole Havelka, your mindful change coach, and this is Defy the Trend Live. I am so excited to be here with you and with Emily. Grab a beverage, grab your lunch if it's that time of day for you, or breakfast if that's better, and or a snack, and settle in. And we are going to talk about using mindfulness, particularly the Defy the Trend community in the process of starting a new career. And that's why I've invited my friend and Defy the Trend founding member, Emily, Reverend Emily, who is a pastor, a mental health advocate, and like I said, a member of the Defy the Trend community. Tell our friends a little bit more about you, Emily.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me, Nicole. This group and Defy the Trend is essential to my well-being as a newly ordained pastor. So I joined around the time I was ordained in 2021. And it's been just so much fun to just see Defy the Trend grow and be a part of something that is healing myself and making me better at my job.
Mm-hmm. So say more about that. What kind of inkling did you have, or what prompting did you have for feeling like you needed that support in making that shift?
Right. As I was reflecting about, what has this experience meant to me, I work in a career that requires me to be on and to use myself and to use my gifts and in a really personally meaningful way that touches other people's most personal selves. And the only way I knew how to do that when I was newly ordained was to get a lot of support around me. I want to be the best that I can for my community. And the only way I can do that is to take care of myself. We all know that rates of clergy burnout are at an all-time high. And I have friends and colleagues in ministry who have decided to leave because of the demands of the time and the place that we're serving in. And I fully support them in that because, frankly, we only have this body, this self, this mind. We have family and friends who need us and love us and care for us. And in addition, I knew, well, God gave me ability to serve in this lifetime. And if I have support around me, I'm going to give it a go. And so with the support of Defy the Trend, I'm not only finding my voice in ministry, but I'm actually enjoying ministry. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. That brings me great delight to hear. So what do you think specifically helps contribute to that enjoyment?
Absolutely.
That what practices have you adopted? What changes have you made? Or it might have even, in your case, may not have been changes. What things are you building into your life so that your work that demands a lot of you, like you said, and demands a lot you in a front-facing way? How does that help you really feel like what are the things that help you feel that way? So you're like, oh, I really like doing this, as opposed to like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. So when I joined, I got to know your community name is Defy the Trend. And a part of your philosophy, Nicole, that touched my heart and my spirit is I am a creative type. I want to be leading in the church and ministry towards a future that is not what we are today, right? So you're asking about like, how did I grow in this community to enjoy my ministry? There is a lot of joy in defying the trend. So whether the trend is patriarchy, the trend is burnout, the trend is defeatism, that, oh, there's nothing left for organizations to do that hasn't already been done. Defy the Trend is about saying, yeah, there's actually a lot more to be done and we can do it. But because it's hard work and change making is exhausting work sometimes, not just sometimes, it takes a lot of energy to do change making. That's why I went into ministry, because I love seeing new things being birthed. We're in spring, right? So watch and see what's being birthed is beautiful. And I knew I'm the only one who can do the things that will keep me in the game, but I need some support around that. So Nicole, you asked, like, how did I come to enjoy this? Not only is it seeing what is good that we're creating together as a community, which we really are. And I love watching what I post and what others post and share, and feeling like I'm around others who are in the game with me. but it also is about healing myself, so that I can stay in the game, right? And so something as simple as boundary setting is actually one of the hardest practices for clergy. And you've been right there with me through coaching and through mindfulness practice, through yoga. It's about being healthy. And so I could talk for hours about boundary setting and how something as simple as, from my first moments being ordained, claiming rest, and I'm looking forward next month to the Rest is Resistance book discussion, because it's that simple and that radical.
Yeah. I mean, I know that if you're okay with sharing a little bit about this, I know you were sharing it last week. So for those of you who may not be familiar with sort of a clergy routine, or last week was sort of the Super Bowl
Yeah.
of the church year, which is Holy
Yeah.
Week going into Easter, right? And so,
Mhm.
and not only is that like a really busy week, there's all kinds of extra services going on in most churches and things like that.
Yeah.
There's like weeks of prep that go into that.
Oh yeah.
So you're at the end. So you're doing like this big sprint at the end of a marathon, which is
Absolutely.
doesn't feel great. And I'm sure
Mhm.
that even if you're joining us and if you're not a clergy person, imagine your busiest season and just
Right.
place that in there. Like
Mhm.
it's really the same thing. So what did
Mhm.
you do like during that time of lead up to that really busy week? And then what were you doing during that week to help keep yourself propped up? Because I know you were sharing a little bit about that in our.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for cheering on your clients through those seasons, right? Because I know for me, anytime I've gone through, whether it's a busy season or a challenge in my ministry environment of any kind, going back to Defy the Trend and posting or saying, hey, I need some support with this. Oh, it makes all the difference in the world. Last week I was Holy Week, which meant about 5 services in 3 days. And they're not just any services, they're like the moment of our work year in the church that touches so many lives all at once, and is frankly extremely meaningful to all of us. And so you want to be your best self. And I wouldn't have said this 2 years ago, Nicole, but because of the coaching, I freed myself up to take naps. I freed myself up to let myself sleep in and let my body rest. And it's counterintuitive, but it made me a better front facing leader in those weeks. It sounds so strange, and it is countercultural. But I let myself sleep in, and I let myself have rest. I let myself take as many breaks as I needed. And I was so pleased with the work we did as a result of taking care of myself in an extra way. Again, counterintuitive, but I took extra care of myself. I would not have done that 5 or 10 years ago. And I'm sure that Defy the Trend is one of the many causes. It's a really important source of that accountability.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, 100%. And that is a big part of what I try to encourage you and everyone else in our community to do, is to begin to adopt those ways of being that are the counter to intuitive ones, right? That's
Right.
part of why I chose the name Defy the Trend, is because some of this is counterintuitive. And some of that comes from actually a piece of advice I got from someone when I was a freshman in college, but it took me years to actually both understand and even buy that it was a thing. Like I had someone in college, I think she was a senior, was a tutor of mine or something. I don't even remember. I wish I knew this person's name. I don't remember anymore.
Yeah,
But like that she had said to me, when you think you don't have time to like eat or sleep, you need to eat and sleep.
that's right.
And it's took me like, I don't know, most of my adulthood to figure out that like, oh, that is really true. And if you take this sort of radical care of yourself,
That's
that like
right.
you rest when you think you don't have time.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but I always magically like, it feels like I don't have time to even lay my head down for 20 minutes or something like that some days. And then I do that. And somehow what I need to get done gets done, and usually easier and quicker.
Amen. And with a better result.
And with better results. Exactly. And I don't sell this as productivity. We all deserve we deserve rest by virtue of who we are. And by virtue of, I mean, we just need rest by virtue of being human. That isn't making you different than anyone else. That's just the reality. Right?
Hmm.
We talk a lot about that in our group coaching sessions, and for some folks, individual coaching as well. So, kind of building on that, Emily, I'm wondering what else, what would you, so you're a couple of years in to
Mhm.
this new phase, this new career in life. What would you, if you were going to give anyone who's just starting out, who might be 2 years behind you, 2 or 3 years, earlier, going in a different place in their career, what would you say to them?
Yeah.
What advice would you give them now based on what you've
Mhm.
learned so far?
As I was reflecting on this, I just was thinking about how, my whole life I've been trying to succeed on the rules of the game, whether that's right, the church as it did exist, or whether it's white supremacy and patriarchy, and you're trying to play by that rule. And in Defy the Trend, what advice I have for my younger self and for us today is that you're unique, and that, first of all, the game is evolving into something better, and that you have unique gifts to offer. So play by the rules that we are together co-creating. And so be yourself, be unique, do what you do uniquely. And so that also gives me the power, Nicole, and as a new clergy person, to also claim the unique gift I have, which is to say, here's my rest, here's my time for rest, here's my self-care, prioritizing self-care, because that in itself is a leadership ministry, to publicly prioritize self-care.
Yeah.
So that's what I hope for. And that's what I would tell my younger self. Be you.
I
Yep.
love
And you
that.
have the power to do it.
Um, is there anything that you've learned that you would do differently? And the asterisk I would put next to this question is that we are a growing and learning community. This isn't necessarily a community where I have all of the answers right away. That we grow and learn and use Emily's beautiful word, co-create. We're
Mm.
creating this together, and we're making this up because there's no blueprint for doing this. The blueprint is burnout.
Right.
The blueprint is overworking.
Yep.
Right. So is there anything that you've learned along the way from stumbles, from falls, from
Mm.
or just in things that have come up and that you've said, oh, I could do that differently or better? Have you grown and learned in that way?
The saying that came to mind for me is a slogan, and I think about a 12-step slogan, which is easy does it. And I love that slogan so much. And it physically hurts me to think about how hard I was trying before. And like, listen, in Defy the Trend, you'll get encouragement for each other to say easy does it. And that growth takes some slow time. And that includes our organizations, that we may have, a million things that we want to see happen tomorrow. Can we help each other stay accountable to the process? And that's where my heart is with Defy the Trend. Stay accountable to the process and be true to who we are. And that the result is, most importantly, that we have done the work of being true to ourselves along the way. So I love it. It makes me happy to be a part of this place. Very happy. I can't imagine my work without it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I see there's a few, I have one more question on my list for Emily, but if I see that there's a few people who are joining us live, yay, that's so exciting. Feel free to drop a question in the chat. I'm happy to add that to our conversation, or just say hello that you're here. If you are joining us on Facebook, because I'm using StreamYard to broadcast from, you do have to do a little login through StreamYard first. There's instructions in the Facebook group for that if you want to join us. If not, you can also drop a question in the chat in any of my platforms, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. And I'm happy. I'll go back and answer questions. And Emily is in all of those spaces as well. So Emily might chime in on one of those platforms as well. So just one more quick thing. And I have permission to say this, by the way. We talked about this in advance of our time together. Emily is also an individual coaching client. So that's an optional part of the Defy the Trend membership. So you get first crack at my individual coaching, my individual coaching calendar if you're part of the community. And then I go from there once, if that fills up or not. So Emily, what role, specifically has that one-on-one time? Because we do have group coaching, which you also attend, the daily community. We have weekly yoga classes and things like that. But
Right.
how does that really, how has that really impacted you?
Absolutely. I'm going to go straight to an example of where you have been on my mind, which is a time of conflict in my organization. Very normal to have conflict in an organization, but as a new clergy person, going to the one-on-ones and having that space to check in with myself and to understand the dynamic of being in a growing organization and that conflict is necessary. And that was so healing. I had no idea what I was going to, what do I have to offer in that situation? What do I have to do to take care of myself in that situation? And God bless you, Nicole, because you, through those one-on-ones, really gave me guidance that was healthy. And for me, that's also about your role, which is coaching for not just individuals, but you work consulting with organizations too. And it's all about health. And the one-on-one just got into the place of the depth that I needed in that situation. Not only that, Nicole, but having that baseline to come back to with building my ministry. And so I understand that it's always been a safe place for me to share anything. When I've found barriers within myself or in my work, I can go in deep on those and we work through those together. And I'm really proud of that work that specifically came out of the one-on-one. So I'm curious what you would say about your own one-on-one coaching, Nicole. I've never thought about it out loud until now. It has been essential. And the safe space part and the reflective depth there, it's a great practice.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I love working. It's really nice to be able to hone in with people individually who we might start a conversation in our group sessions, either sometimes after yoga class. Sometimes it just happens after we stay on the Zoom call after yoga, or we're something we're talking about in group coaching. It's nice to be able to hey, can you bookmark something comes up and I can say bookmark that for when we meet next time. That's just practical, right? Because then we can go, like you said, go deeper. What I love about the practice of coaching is that I get to ask, I think the most important thing I do is that I ask powerful questions.
Yeah.
I'm not there to solve everything. I may offer some guidance based on my experience, right? I mean, the advantage is that I've been where you had been, right? And I've been in organizations, and many times at this point, I've been through places where there's been organizations or groups in conflict. And I've learned how to take care of myself in that. I've learned how to maneuver that, both by things that I was like, oh, right, I did well, or mostly from things I got wrong. And then and learned, so I get to, I do, like, I'm not a coach that's really purist. So I would say they only ask questions. They don't give advice. I will offer some guidance from my own experience. And people can take it or leave it. And I think once we have a good rapport, that, like, if you do something different than what I did, I don't care. Like, I'm just like, there's no judgment. Like, you're not me. Emily's people. And I wouldn't, and the situation's not the same that I found myself in. So I wouldn't expect that. So I really love seeing people change and grow individually that I get when we're one-on-one that is harder to get in groups. Although I would say the group coaching, the advantage is that you get the wisdom of the group, right? And so if someone brings a challenge there, or for that matter, just upset about something that's going on, you have the support of a bigger network, which I'm one part of, and I'm there facilitating the relationships, which is the part I love about groups. So I think they both have really great advantages as well. That's all I have. Did you want to share any last comment, thought that you might have today, Emily?
I hope that anyone who saw this live will feel free to reach out, and just know that if you are someone who wants to defy the trend, that being here with community can help you along, because you aren't alone.
Thank you for saying that. So the Defy the Trend community is open to new paid members right now through April 21st, which is a week from tomorrow, Friday. Those check those out at defythetrend.com/community. And you can find those, you can join for free. There's always a free membership you can join at any time of year. But I open up for new paid members only twice a year so that I can help you get acclimated more easily if I do that in a group of people, a group of folks who are joining all at the same time. And then right after that, I'll open up my individual coaching calendar as well, to my community. If it doesn't fill up from the community, then the individual, I will put out some feelers beyond that if there are people outside of the community who want to get one-on-one coaching with me. So again, I hope you check us out. The free membership, you get access to not all, but most of the conversations within the online community. I encourage you to do that. That's a great source of support. And I'm posting usually, just so you know what to expect, one or two times to a day, Monday through Friday. Usually I don't post a whole lot on the weekends. And then you get a weekly newsletter full of resources. You get a sampler package of some guided meditations and a free class pass to one of my yoga classes, or get the recording later. So thank you so much for being here, Emily, talking a little bit about how you've utilized this community and about your journey so far in your moving toward well, there's nothing you're just moving through, learning
Keep
how to
going. That's right.
Person in ministry in a hard front-facing job, which a lot of people have. That's not an unusual thing, and that lo and behold, you need to take care of yourself and all that.
That's right. Amen. Good work.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been a joy to talk with you, and I will be talking with my friend, the other Nicole Pickens, will be joining me here at 4 p.m. on next Tuesday. And we will be talking about mindfulness and anxiety. So join us for that next live, and you will find that dropping in the same places in my Facebook group, the Mindful Leaders Lounge. You'll find that on my YouTube page and on LinkedIn as well. So I hope you join me for one or more of those lives. I'm really enjoying this, so I may keep doing this even after this membership session. So cool. I'm excited about that. Thanks, Emily. I appreciate you.
Great to see you. Take care.
Bye-bye.